Greetings once again, spacefaring adventurers. Duuz-Diz-Din, back with Eden Zero. Here with the second to last chapter. The penultimate chapter. I think I'm using that word correctly. And it is kind of bittersweet. As previously, Shiki was able to pull the negative emotions of the Rebecca who had essentially lost it all, even her life, and was consumed by her power turning into the chronophage. And that power tried to take over Rebecca of the presence body. But through love, caring, and friendship, Shiki was able to bring our Rebecca to the surface, causing that power to seemingly dissipate. And so the day seemed to have been saved. Earth was restored to its best point before its imminent destruction. All of Shiki's friends survived. He's made allies of people in other timelines he never could have. And yet with all of that, Pino silently fades away in the background, saying her job is done. But why? Why did Pino need to go? Can nothing be done for Pino? Was there still a price to be paid, despite everything having happened the way it did? What happened to happily ever after? What happens next? Join me as I find out, won't you? Alright, and we have the ooh from Origato with Laguna, Chris, and Klein. Although I have to admit, it kind of feels like they're just, it always feels this way sometimes, like they're the auxiliary characters. Like in Fairy Tail, if you weren't the part of Team Natsu, you were the rest. Not saying that they're bad characters, just very underserved characters. But this is Eden Zero, chapter 292. Friendship never ends. Got that right. True friendship never ends. And we pick up on Earth, formerly Mother. And we pick up on a town bordering the beach, and we see that the beach is crowded and populated with people spending their time and their day having fun in the sun down by the pier. And we see a figure surfing. Naturally, it is the human version of Valkyrie. Oh, and as she takes off her board attachment and dries her hair on the beach, a very familiar figure approaches her, questioning Dr. Yuna, and we see the android Valkyrie approach her. As the human Valkyrie questions, what in the? Like looking in a very weird mirror. Meanwhile, at the hospital, the human sister is a little shaken, questioning, whoa, what is going on? As a figure appears in her hospital room door. As the android sister approaches her, the human one questions, there's another me? As the android sister says, some illnesses may be beyond your planet's medical capacity, but I can cure anything. We then pick up at a government building where the human witch has met with the android version, and the human one questions, you're me from the future? The android one says, to be more precise, I am an android that was designed based on you from the future. The human one says, you can't expect me to believe. And the android one says, here, look at this, holding up an interesting looking cube. We then pick up with the two versions of Hermit. We're analyzing some data. The android one says, this is your planet's future a few years from now. You do manage to get the planet into overdrive, but the human race still goes extinct. The human version of Killer is watching from the door, questioning, two Mias? The human version asks her android counterpart, so what can we do to stop it? The android version says, we have technology that is much more advanced than anything your planet's science is capable of. Meanwhile, with the two Valkyries, the android version says, we have a device that normalizes ether. Not that I have any idea how it works. The human one questions, such a thing exists? The android one then questions, anyway, why was I designed after a surfer? The human version says, I'm a scientist, and if you're going to go there, why would an android based on me turn into a sword fighter? Said all of the fan base ever. Meanwhile, with the two versions of Sister, the android one says, me a sickie? Ha! Well, the human one says, me a nun. This is getting weird. I mean, it was already kind of weird, but I gotta figure this was the direction we were gonna end up in. Meanwhile, with the two witches, the android one tells her human counterpart, and there you have it. With our technology, your planet can be saved. The human one pauses and then questions, why would you do this for us? The android tells her with a smile, because I was designed after you. And this planet is the great demon king's home. Naturally, the human version freaks out, questioning, Demon King? Is the future some kind of fantasy world? The android is a little bit at a loss of what to say, saying, well, suddenly a voice calls out, regret. The human witch turns, calling out to Leonard. Leonard. I always want to call him Leonard. The android witch thinks wizard and turns away. Well, the human wizard questions, who are you talking to? But the human witch turns to see that her android counterpart is already briskly walking away, with her simply saying, I hope your baby is healthy and happy, as she goes, causing the two humans to blush profusely. I don't think they were at a point where they knew that, she was pregnant. We then see what was once a dying world being rebuilt and regrowing, healthy and more populated. Cut to 16 years later. Valkyrie is on the phone saying, so it's been 16 years, eh? Yeah. The voice calls out on the other end saying all thanks to those androids from the future. Our Ether Observation Center has really expanded. We see a now more grown-up human hermit working in a lab, and the human sister now working as a nurse checking up on a patient. As a voice on the other end says the Earth is safe now. Valkyrie then says, that reminds me, your son is going back to school today. Which says, yes, he's starting high school. They grow up so fast. And then we cut to East High School, where a very familiar looking boy is going to class. As he walks through the campus, we see a girl, with a selfie stick recording herself, and two very familiar looking people bump into each other. As they turn, this version of Shiki says, oh, sorry. While this version of Rebecca says, no, it was my fault. Shiki questions, you go to school here? While Rebecca says, I just started today. Shiki smiles, saying, me too. A figure then approaches, saying, oh, sister dear. And as Rebecca and Shiki turn, well, damn. What? I don't know what to say to this. A human version of Pino holds out a lunchbox saying you forgot your lunch. And as Rebecca takes I'm still kind of thrown, takes the lunchbox, she says, thank you. Shiki stares and Rebecca turns, saying, here, let me introduce. Shiki says his name. While the little Pino says, nice to meet you, master. And Shiki questions, master? Rebecca tells him, he's been watching some weird cartoons lately. And Shiki smiles and says, anyway, if you two are okay with it, will you be my friend? And then we cut back to the Eden Zero, with Shiki holding the lifeless body of the android Pino, as her final thoughts are, master, good night. I'm still kind of at a loss. Look, I won't lie, I started tearing up when I saw human Pino. It's just like, oh my god! But I still have to question, why did the android Pino deactivate, fade away, meet her end? It still doesn't quite make sense to me. Why did Pino need to cease operation? Why did she need to seemingly die? I need some kind of explanation to just tie a bow on all of this. Because I will say, while I do not hate the ending of Eden Zero, I feel that the anime might serve to bolster a lot of the emotion going on here. And given what has happened, Mother has been reverted to an early enough point in time where they were able to save the Earth, but does it still overdrive into Mother? Or was there no longer any need for this? Will Mother now no longer exist? Will we now just have this version of Earth just in a point in a universe where you can't really get to? And now that so many years have passed, you have the Shiki who was able to grow up on Earth and a now older Shiki out there in the universe. I'm really curious what happens in the final chapter now. Because again, this is Universe Zero, the best timeline. All the positive outcomes happen, and yet Pino is still lost. And on the one hand, some sacrifice, you gotta have it, but on the other hand, given everything we know about how this universe is supposed to work, why did Pino have to be the sacrifice when it doesn't feel like it makes sense for her to be the sacrifice? That's the one thing that I can't quite gel with. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Am I missing something about what is going on with Pino? If I am, let me know. Also remember to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed the ride. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you later. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.